The last time, hmm,
I think I played a hashtag feminism game at Metatopia. Was it Metatopia? We were doing running a bunch of games, and I don't, maybe not. Maybe it was longer ago. But I basically ran my game driving to a union, and that was fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Alex, you and I played at Gen Con. That was cool.
Yeah, that's right. I got in last minute. It was me and you and a table of very nice young gentlemen.
Yes.
And we played Dying for a Cup of Coffee, and it was awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think some folks were uncomfortable, and that was great.
That's why we have the X card. They were more than welcome to bow out, but there was I don't want to quite say machismo, but there was definitely this no, I'm too good of a feminist ally to back out now.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was fantastic. I felt like people were stretching. And hey, everybody that's on here on Actual Play. Hey. We're gonna play some hashtag feminism nano games right now. And there's a reason for that. Well, there's a couple reasons. One of them is that Laura and Alex and Hakan are all stretch goal guests for Big Bad Con, because our backers, which maybe include some of you, made it possible for them to come out to Big Bad Con this year. And the other reason I'm going to let Alex talk about, because Pelgrane's doing something cool.
Yeah, that's right. So hashtag feminism is this collection of games that's been out for a while, but it was so unexpectedly extremely popular because of how amazing it is, that it was time to do a second print run. And so Pelgrane Press, who I work for, I'm the production assistant there, stepped in and said, heck yeah, we'll reprint that. It's amazing. So right now we're in the pre-order phase. And so to hype everybody up on these good games, we're doing a stream. We're going to demonstrate some. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks all. We're going to be doing a bunch of different games. So the neat thing is you'll get a little taste of them. But there's so many. How many games? There was like 50 nano games?
There's like 36 games.
36? Okay.
And if you pre-order, you'll get the supplement. We're publishing 6 new games in a little side PDF. One of which is by me. And yeah, we got Caitlin Bell, a bunch of awesome designers.
That's super cool. I didn't know about the supplement.
Yeah. I'm super excited about it.
Pretty rad that you're getting in there. So Laura has a game already in the main game. Alex will be in the supplement. So you're watching right now with the designers. Just saying,
Pretty good.
I'm pretty excited.
And I just put some info in chat about the game where you can get it. And also, if you're excited about playing with any of these cool people, they're all going to be a Big Bad Con.
Yeah.
If you want to come, you can come and you can back the Kickstarter right now, which would be super cool, to get a badge, get like gift baskets brought to your table with treats to share with other people you're playing with, and all sorts of fun stuff. So, and we'll all be there, which is going to be rad. So do you want to jump in? Are we ready for the first game?
Well, why don't we, do we want to go around and do a round of introductions?
Yes, that's very smart. Thank you, Alex. I'm a fantastic host. Yeah.
Are you nervous,
that's my
Sean?
Introduction, Sean.
No, totally. Why don't you start, Alex?
Sure, why don't I? Yeah. My name is Alex Roberts. I host the Backstory podcast on the One Shot Network. And I also work as a production assistant for Pelgrane Press and for Bully Pulpit Games. And I write for a lot of games as well. And as of this supplement coming out, I'll be a published game designer too. So yeah, I'm just everything. Hakan.
So my name is Hakan, and I'm with Thorny Games. I'm 50% of Thorny Games with Kate. And we make games about like quirky and thoughtful games about language mainly. Our main game for last year was Dialect, which kickstarted back in November. And I'm super excited about Big Bad Con. I'll be running Dialect and sign our LARP, and also hopefully one big weird LARP. We'll see how that goes.
Nice. Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Simpson. I'm a game designer. I'm one half of Sweet Potato Press. In February, I kickstarted Companion's Tale. It's a storytelling game with map-making components about a hero's journey, but told from the perspective of the hero's companions. I also have a nano game in #feminism, Driving to a Union, all about the sticky relationships between 4 intergenerational Black women returning to college and facing what it's like to be misunderstood by someone from another generation. And I'm looking forward to Big Bad Con this year. I'll be there with Painsdale, and the other half of Sweet Potato Press, Dev Prakarasta, will be there with Love Commander.
Super cool. I'm really excited for those games to be on the roster. I'm Sean Nittner, your host here over at Actual Play, and also the host of Big Bad Con. So small world, right? Crazy how that comes together. And you can find me on my places like this channel and other stuff, and there's links already. So yeah.
Let's jump right the heck in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to play a little first game we've got up here.
We have Mentioning the Unmentionables is a trio of games that Kasia Gregor wrote for the collection. The first one is like the ultimate perfect warm-up game for, I feel, pretty much any game. It's called Dances with Volvas. So we will have exactly 5 minutes to go around in order and each say a movie title with the word vulva in it. So for example, Dances with Volvas, Ocean's Vulva, Vulva Club, 12 Angry Vulvas, My Big Fat Greek Vulva. The possibilities are infinite. So yeah, Sean, I guess you have like a timer.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll go Laura, me, Sean, Hakan, because that makes logical sense from their point of view, I think.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to do it in that order. So I will say go, and then Laura, you'll be in the hot seat. So go.
Wonder Vulva.
Howl's Moving Vulva.
Yes, My Big Fat Greek Vulva.
A Beautiful Vulva.
Batman vs. Super Vulva.
My Vulva Totoro.
Hidden Vulvas.
Army of Vulva.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Vulva.
Ooh. Honey, I Shrunk the Vulvas.
Vulva Busters.
The Vulva Club.
You can say pass.
Yeah, that's
pass. Oh, come on.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Vulva.
Ferris Bueller's Vulva Off.
Evil Vulva.
Ooh. The Vampire Vulva.
Vulva Christ Superstar.
Star Trek II, Wrath of the Vulva.
Ooh.
Interview with a Vulva.
It's good to see that. Vulva Man 2.
Apocalypse Vulva.
Justice Vulva.
2001: A Space Vulva.
Vulva for Vendetta.
Wonder Vulva.
Triple X Return of Vulva Cage.
The Fast and the Vulva.
Milo and Vulva.
Oh.
Oh.
It's cute. It's
Reservoir vulvas.
Twin vulvas.
Out of vulva.
The vulva and the hound.
Oh no, I'm blanking. Pass.
Star Wars: The Vulva Awakens.
Ooh.
Finding vulva.
Prince vulva.
The little vulva.
Vulva spotting.
Grr. Chasing vulva.
Vulva rats.
Lord of the vulvas.
The vulva boss.
Let's see. Singing in the vulva.
Hidden vulvas.
Cruel vulvas.
Harold and Kumar go to Vulva Castle?
The cook, the thief, his wife, and her vulva.
Buffy, the vulva slayer.
4 weddings and a vulva.
Vulva hard?
Die vulva.
Independence vulva.
Ooh, a vulva in the air.
Vulva is the new black?
Meet Joe Vulva.
Oh.
The devil wears vulva.
Pass.
House of Vulvas.
The 7 vulva.
Vulvaless in Seattle.
Midnight Train to Vulva. That's a movie, right?
Yeah, it totally is, or it should be. Princess Vulva.
Strangers on the vulva.
And Vulva! Vulva! Yay!
Yay, we all win.
Yay!
We've done it. And I believe we are now, because I was definitely counting, and we definitely had 50 or more vulvas in there, I'm sure. So, because it definitely counted all that, each one. So we are now honorary vulvas.
We are honorary vulvas. Hooray! Terrific.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I do think that is the best. Alex said vulva matrix. Thank you. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank you.
I was trying not to. I was trying not to cheat with chat. I almost was like, give me vulva. I was totally with today when I was walking home from work. I was like thinking of movie. I'm like, I'm prepared. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing to do. Not prepare for the game.
This is a low prep game.
Highly 19. What is this? Oh, we are playing #feminism nano game. The game we were just playing was called
Dance. Question to ask.
Yeah, it was called Dances with Vulvas, where we replaced the name of a movie, a one word in a movie or a TV show, I guess, because I did some of those with the word vulva. So, Night of the Living Vulva is totally fair game. Fallen Seraph. Yeah. Thank you. And we're going to play a bunch of #feminism games with some of the #feminism contributors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that game doesn't have a debrief, but, we can talk about it. Or we can move on to the next game.
I feel like it's the perfect warm-up. We should jump into...
We got the energy going.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
So the next game we have prepared is called First Date. And it is... well, actually, it opens with me reading this quote to you.
Yes, please.
So, unfortunately, unequal pay isn't the only reward discrepancy between men and women in our society. There exists an additional gap between heterosexual men and women, the orgasm gap. Women are earning less cash, fewer orgasms. And that's a quote from Natalie Bree from bitchtopia.com. And so the game has a bunch of like super interesting studies that you can go look at that have shown this massive, well, significant, I would say, discrepancy within heterosexual relationships and among mostly single people, heterosexual couplings. So like when people hook up, there's a significant gap in the frequency with which women experience orgasm and the frequency with which men experience orgasm. And what's really interesting is that you don't find this difference among lesbian couples. Basically, women in lesbian relationships have a lot more orgasms. So this is super interesting to me, and people find it very challenging to talk about. So someone made a game about it. So the structure of it is that it is two people on a first date. It doesn't have to be a man and a woman. They're just two people on a first date. And somehow they get onto this conversation where they start talking about the orgasm gap. And this game begins right after that subject has come up. So one person will play the ranter and the other person will play the listener. The ranter just goes on and on and on about why this discrepancy is perfectly normal and natural and to be expected and unavoidable. And the listener's job is to actively listen to them until either they cross a line or become too stupid to listen to, at which point they get up out of their chair and leave. And then that ranter becomes the listener, and the next player jumps in to become the ranter. And you go around like that until everyone has had a chance at both roles.
Fantastic.
Does that make sense to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
So as the rancher, you're kind of like putting your foot in your mouth as much as humanly possible.
Just make the biggest ass of yourself you could even conceive of.
Was planning on that anyway.
It's very easy for me, so I start as the ranter.
Yeah, I think since Laura started us off last time, I think it's fair to give you the ranter baton.
I see what you did. I know you're behind the controls.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hakan, do you want to be my listener?
Sure. I will be your listener.
Thank you, Hakan. I really appreciate you giving me this audience, holding space for me to be an ass.
Yeah, the mechanically speaking, if you turn off your camera, Zoom will explode. So I think, and if we stand up, you might make horrible noises. So I think it's fair to say that the listener can show that they have left by perhaps putting their hand in front of the camera or some other sort of like very obvious gesture that means they are no longer present.
This works for me. I can do this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally.
Excellent. Okay. So we will all know that the listener has left the date.
Oh, he did.
When the hand is up there.
Okay.
Sounds good. Whenever you want to take it off.
Highlight 19, yes, you're playing the game right.
Let's start. So we're in the middle of a conversation and we just go. See, the thing is, like, in evolutionary psychology, right? Like, that's kind of how you have to think about it. Like, in terms of how people evolved, like, it's evolutionarily necessary for the man to have an orgasm, right? Because that is required for, like, for conception. But, like, when you think about it, like, when you really think about it, like, there's no, like, biological imperative for a woman's orgasm, right? Because what does it do? It doesn't really do anything. So like I mean, in terms of like, procreation, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like weird that the female orgasm exists at all, really. Like it's probably just one of those like, what do you call it? Like vestigial.
Well played. Well played.
Wow, that
was some darn good. Too stupid to listen to.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's my specialty.
Yeah. That was fantastic. All right. So now, Alex, you become listener, and Laura, are you up for us rotating it backwards? I was going to rotate the other way around, but I'm doing it bad. Are you ready? Are you ready to rant, Laura?
I'm going to do my best.
Okay, we're going to do it. So Laura will be the ranter.
Okay.
And Alex, you are now the listener.
I mean, actually, and I know people keep saying that the female orgasm is important, but when you think about it, I don't think it's really real, you know? And I mean, I know people say it exists, but I don't think it's an important thing to really talk about. And, you know, there's so many more important things that we could be talking about anyway, other than, you know, female orgasms if they exist.
I thought I was going to hold out longer.
That's very good.
Oh, it's like holding your hand in ice water.
Yeah, how long can you do it? Oh goodness.
I will.
Sean,
the mantle of ranter has fallen upon you.
Yeah, I am now the ranter. All right. Well, here we go. So in rabbits, rabbit species, actually, the female orgasm actually prohibits, sort of generates a pheromone that drives away other mates, so that reproduction is most possible. So they've actually found that it can be, in the case of infertility, in the case of rabbits, it can actually be more difficult for rabbits to breed because of the female orgasm. So there's I'm sorry, I'm so terrible.
Oh my God, what's so good? I think your camera froze for a second, and so you were in this perfect, like, what face? I'm trying to give you some knowledge here.
just dispensing with the knowledge. Oh God. All right.
Is it my turn to do some ranting?
1 second. Let me move some things around. There we go. Yes. You're ready to rant. I'll stick with as long as I can.
All right, look. All I'm saying is it really that big of a deal? Like, if women aren't having orgasms, isn't it their job to, like, try to just enjoy stuff more and try to get off more? I mean, look, I know that I don't really need a lot of help in order to get off. It's just something that really just kind of happens naturally. Sometimes when I don't even want it, but it's just so hard for a woman to have an orgasm sometimes that, like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit there and work at this for like an hour? Like, how long is this supposed to take? Like, what can...
Sean does the slow creep of intolerability.
Yes. Was that the "this is going up on YouTube" way of ending the conversation?
Yeah. See, I'm recording you right now for your own embarrassment. This is on YouTube, by the way, so we will be immortalized. All of us being the assets.
I can't wait until this is quoted out of context a decade from now.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you, everyone. We have a debrief for this game. We'll go around person by person and just say 2 sentences about your experience of this game. One as the ranter and one as the listener. So for me, being the ranter was embarrassing but fun. And for me, being the listener was actually pretty painful. Laura, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. My experience being the ranter, it was weird. It's just kind of, it felt very like I needed to take this wrong point and then just push it as hard as I could. And as a listener, it was just it's hard. Like, you try to hang in there, but then you just kind of like, I give up. I let go.
No more.
It was. Oh, is it my turn or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing that was surprising to me as the ranter, I think, is like, once you make the initial like bad points, it's really easy to let that just runaway train keep going, right? Like it was very easy for me just to keep going farther and farther and farther down this horrible path, which is just funny. It's like, I feel like I could have just kept on ranting ignorantly for a lot longer even. And as the listener, it was kind of interesting to like not want to end it to some extent too. Just like this person, like there's just this morbid curiosity of just how badly this can keep going, right? And so it's like,
how much of a train wreck can this be?
Exactly. You just don't want to end it to some extent. But at some point, there's just this, I have to, for the good of everyone, everywhere.
For the good of ending idiocy.
Mm-hmm.
For the ranter, I found I had to, like, I didn't feel comfortable tapping into anything that felt genuine. That whole rabbit story is something that I had like heard elsewhere, and I was like, I can do this because it's not anything that's anywhere close to anything I've ever believed. Whereas if I was probably being more genuine, I would like have tapped into some juvenile sexist chauvinistic ideas. Like that was more comfortable for me to be really distant from it. And as the listener, yeah, I did see a little bit of that, like just like watching a train wreck, and feeling like I could, I might have been able to go, but it was like for the good of the rancher. I'm like, no, please stop hurting yourself. Stop saying these things that you'll regret. And I regret too, but yeah.
Quick show of hands. Did everyone base what they were saying on something that they had heard someone else say?
Like partial internet stuff, like.
Sure, yeah.
It counts.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Very good. Well, thank you, everyone. That was First Date by Katrin Ford.
Yay.
Yay.
And a little bit about feminism while we're here, as you can see on the screen. So each game is, for the most part, like a 2-page spread, and the Shomeng did amazing layout on this book. And I've given a little snippet up here where it shows how many players are involved, how long the game takes on average, the intensity level, supplies, and the keywords, and then because that's the kind of the visually appreciable thing. But it's one of the great things about this anthology is that you can literally just crack it open, look at a really brief blurb to get a sense of the game, and play it with no prep at all. And these games are not only insightful and thoughtful and interesting and revealing, they're also really easy to play for the most part. So,
and is the longest one like an hour, or?
Yeah, they're all between 15 minutes and an hour.
Cool.
So you can do like we are and play a bunch of
them. My favorite thing that I just found out recently is I have a friend who's like not a gamer at all, but they run a drop-in center for queer, like LGBT youth in this rural area that they live in the Annapolis Valley. And I told them about this collection, and they were like, "That is something I need for my drop-in center." And so I'm like, "Yay!"
Awesome.
So yeah, if any rural gay teens play this game, please report to me immediately about how much fun they had. Okay, are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
So we've been playing really like cute, fun games. But yeah, there's a reason why the intensity drops, whether you think of them as teardrops or blood drops, go from 1 to 5. Some of the games in this collection are deal with a lot more serious issues than saying the word vulvas. So we're about to play A Friend in Need by Muriel Algar. Yes, I hope I pronounced that right. Sorry, Muriel. And it is about street harassment. So the opening text is, on her way to meet some friends for drinks, Ella was followed and harassed by a man as she was walking down the street. She had experienced the situation before many times, but this time she froze and became so scared that she couldn't respond. Fortunately, a bystander helped defuse the encounter. Now she feels guilty about the whole experience. Can she start to work through these negative feelings with the help of her friends? So we will play these 4 characters. Ella, who was street harassed. Charlie, who is the bystander who stepped in. Pat, who is her friend who she was going to meet, who is understanding and supportive and empathetic. And Claude, who is the guest of Pat, also at the restaurant, who is a bit doubtful or a bit confused.
Yes, I like street harassment, so catcalling and the like.
Yeah, you know, when you're walking down the street and a man has a very strong opinion about your body or hair or clothes or things that he imagined you would or won't do. Yeah. So is anyone interested in playing a particular character? I can read you more about the characters if there's anything that you want to know. Should I just go through them?
Why don't we do the... Sure, yeah, I think you could... Why don't we each... We all have the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we each read one of the characters, and then that doesn't have to be the one we play, but that way we each pick one.
Okay, perfect. I will read the first one, Ella, the victim. So the keywords associated with this character are victim, state of shock, freezing under pressure, blaming herself, and she's a female character. So her story is, you were on the way to meet your friends. Some guy tried to start a conversation with you. He said he found you pretty. You tried to avoid the conversation and to ignore his presence. He insisted. You got scared. He started insulting you. You felt like you couldn't move. Then a bystander pretended to know you. They helped you get away from the situation and accompanied you to the place where you're supposed to meet your friends. How you feel about the other characters. You admire Claude a lot and feel that their advice carries some weight. And key quotes for you to integrate as Ellen are, I should have known better. I didn't know what to do. I shouldn't have worn this outfit. And did I say something?
Charlie, the bystander. Charlie's keywords are friendly bystander, indignant, and energetic. You've had some experience with street harassment. Maybe you've endured it yourself, or maybe it happened to you, to someone close to you. You've read articles and websites about it, such as Hollaback website, ihollaback.org, and you have engaged in response strategies. When you saw that Ella had difficulties facing a harasser on the streets, you pretended to be friends with her to ease the situation and allow her to disengage. You then accompanied her to the bar. Friends, you helped Ella and you want to make sure she's fine. Some quotes for Charlie to include is, no one should have to face such a situation alone. Are you sure you're okay? And you're not to blame.
Okay, I can read Pat, the helpful friend. The keywords for Pat are loyal, empathetic, supportive, and appeasing. You start to get worried when Ella showed up late. She is never late. You don't know why she blames herself so much. She can't hold herself responsible for someone else's bad behavior. You know that women tend to blame themselves a lot. Maybe it is a societal thing. You are just very sad to see her so stressed and want to make sure she feels better. So you want to oppose her self-blaming arguments for her sake. Friends, you are very impressed that Charlie stopped to help Ella when she was in danger. You'll ask them to stay for drinks and will use their help to comfort Ella. Quotes, come have a hug. These types of guys are just frustrated losers anyway. He was in the wrong, not you.
And I could read Cloud, the doubtful guest. Keywords, doubtful, critical, knows better, can change their mind. Story. You're against street harassment, of course. Who would it be? But in a situation such as Ella's, you feel like you need to bring some nuance to the discussion. Maybe the guy just wanted to tell her she's pretty or try to hit on her. Is there really something wrong with that? She might be overreacting a bit. Are people supposed to not talk to people on the street anymore? You may want to help Ella, but you also want her to see that not all men, #not all men, are the same. Friends, you're an old friend of Pat, who is the nicest person on earth. Quotes, you're so pretty. He just wanted to pay you a compliment. It's not that bad. You should be flattered.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason why this is intensity 4.
Yeah.
So these are all very familiar characters who I feel like we have all encountered at one time in our lives or been.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we are also supposed to do is, I'm not sure if this, I don't remember if this comes up before or after the discussion, but one of the things that we can do, and we can also not do this if we don't feel comfortable doing this online in the presence of people, is talk about our experience with street harassment, discuss the subject. I guess that is after you've picked the characters though. So never mind, maybe we can do that or not, but we can do that in the right order. I won't skip things.
No, that's okay. I'm glad you are making sure that we don't ignore that part, because I do think it's important.
Yeah.
We're already getting some little crying emojis in the Twitch chat, so that's good. We're well on our way. So yeah, does anyone feel particularly attracted to any of these characters?
I'd love to play Pat, the helpful friend.
Sure. Okay, you are Pat, the helpful friend.
I'd like to be Charlie the bystander.
Nice.
I can do Ella. Would you be okay with Claude, Alex? Or
yeah, I can take Claude.
Okay, cool.
No problem. Okay, super. So yeah, remember that the characters that we have in front of us are just like kind of a place to start from, and you can expand and incorporate your own experience of people who have similar thoughts or opinions or actions. And so step 3, as Sean was saying, is to discuss the subject for a couple minutes. Yeah, again, like, you know, this is live and whatever, but we can talk about it a little bit. Has anyone here ever experienced street harassment?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
I'm trying to think of like, what was the most recent one or what's like an interesting one? Because usually it's just like 2 dumb words that are sort of tossed at you. And it's usually from a vehicle too. So you can't even like, so you can't even say anything. Like they drive away and you're like, I had something.
I had a response.
Sir?
Yeah. Most of it, I would say, most recently, it's like when I was a pedestrian, just kind of walking around, and I've definitely had friends who like get repeatedly harassed. But one that sticks out of my mind is when I was like around like 12 or so, and like some guys drove by and said something to me. I'm like, you know, just barely 12. I'm like still a kid in my mind. So yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's always fun to make it a joke later, but it's always scary in the moment. Like no matter how like stupid it is, like it's always like, really frightening. Like just regardless of what anyone is saying, like, yeah. And I'm lucky that I haven't had people like follow me down the street or like really pursue me, because I definitely have friends who have had that many times.
Yeah, I've had one scary guy like approach me, and it wasn't like, oh, I want like, it wasn't like normal street. It was like sheer aggression, and she just approached me swearing at me. That was
exceptional, truly.
It was. I was so mad that I swore back at him.
Oh, good.
Yay.
But later on, I reflected that he could have killed me. So
yeah, I guess I get excited about that stuff, but de-escalation is actually better.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
Has in your past experiences, has it mainly been when you've been alone or with other women as well, or?
Usually alone. Yeah, maybe with other women, but never with men.
Yeah, I've been in a, I guess it's not on the street, but I've been in a very like seedy dive bar in Esparto, California, with 4 other women, and all of whom were picked up on by a guy who was very drunk and also threatened, just apropos of nothing, to kick the crap out of me. Like, just like, I'll just gotta throw that in. Like, I'm interested in you and you and you and you, and I'm gonna kick your ass. And so that was my, and he was belligerent and drunk and obnoxious. And luckily we were in a bar where it was easy to kind of move away from him, and he lost interest very quickly. But I saw it and I was surprised because it was 10, 15 years ago. And I wasn't as knowledgeable about how often it happens. But also B, it was in front of me in this one case. I think he was just drunk enough to not care at a moment. And it was really shitty all around.
So are we good? Do we feel good with that discussion? Okay, cool. So the fourth phase of this game is to pair up to create shared memories. So anyway, there's seating instructions, but Pat and Claude are going to do like a quick scene of how they met. And like what do they like or dislike in each other? So like, what is their relationship like? And then Ella and Charlie are going to do like a quick scene of what happened on the street. So like, what went down? How did that look? What was the conversation between you two like? Oh no, wait! You don't play it out as a scene. We just talk about it. That's easy.
Significantly easier.
I know. I was like, did I misread this earlier? Oh god.
Is there more that I did?
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so we're kind of supposed to like do this off to the side, like separately in two pairs, but we're all just together, so it's fine. Who wants to go first? Why don't Pat and Claude go first?
Sounds good.
Pat.
How do you feel about us enjoying a activity like tennis or bowling or some kind of?
Can we say squash?
Squash is great. Yeah.
Squash anymore.
Squash players or squash fans or both?
Oh, players for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
We met because we were the only two people at the local gym that still play squash.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. Do we know each other super well, or are we just kind of like acquaintances?
I would like to say that we think we know each other pretty well because we formed a strong gym bond, which is, and this is maybe the first or second time we've gone out and been hanging out together outside of that. So okay. I think we know each other very well and are like a really narrow perspective. And it seems when we're talking about gym stuff or traffic or anything like that, like we've known each other really well, but then we don't really know a lot else. So
okay. So in terms of things that we like and dislike about each other, I think Claude thinks that you're too nice. Like gets a little annoyed sometimes, you know, like you know, just tell the waitress that she didn't bring you the right thing. Like you can't let people walk all over you. So Claude gets irritated with you sometimes.
Yes. I wish Cloud. I don't want to do just sort of the opposite of that, but I wish Cloud would not be so analytical about things. Last time we went out and we had to tip, we split the bill, and I was like, let's just split it 50-50, and Cloud refused and forced us to. But it's what things you like and dislike. So I dislike that Cloud is so analytical, but I think Cloud is like extremely thoughtful and like does the insights that they have are often much more deep than casual insights would have. So whenever we talk about movies or anything else, Cloud says things, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't even think of that. That was super smart.
Cool. And Claude thinks that Pat is really is a wonderful listener, and he really appreciates that.
All right. Cool. So for Ella and Charlie now, the main question for us is, because we didn't know each other beforehand, right? You were just a street bystander. So it's what exactly happened on the street before we met? And I think since we've already talked about the gym a little bit, I like the idea that maybe like I was in warm-up clothes, something like that, going to my gym, maybe. And maybe coming off the subway, like near where my gym was. And that's when this person approached me. And at the beginning, when they started talking to me, like I think that they weren't like, they looked like, you know, clean-shaven, well-kept like person who just at the beginning just seemed like they wanted to meet, but I really didn't have time for that, wasn't interested in it, and then they kept being persistent, right? And it was after they persisted a while that it sounds like, and like I froze up after it became very clear that they weren't going to go away no matter what I said, that you showed up, it sounds like. So how did that happen?
Maybe I'm just, I guess I'm a person wearing just regular clothing, so maybe I'm not a gym attendee, but I spot it and I go, oh, I like, yeah, I get all like the body language and everything. And I think what I might do is go, hey, you're in my spin class. I think we're going to be late. Do you like, you're going, right?
And I think it probably took me a few seconds to realize what you were doing. And I can believe that the harasser may have even picked up on that a little bit. And that's something that I feel like I should have done better, like in that situation as well. Realize what you were doing, like taking your help quicker and diffuse the situation more. And maybe he even ended up following us and like maybe started yelling at you a little bit because like you don't really know who I am either. And so maybe that's just more stuff that I'm just blaming myself for.
Maybe, well, I'm indignant. So I don't know. I might just go. I might just say, leave me alone. Leave us alone.
Totally. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. We are decided. Okay, so our scene should last for about 15 minutes approximately, but we're not held to like a strict timer, but I'll kind of just keep an eye on the time as we go. So the scene kind of has three phases, right? There's the arrival. Pat and Claude are waiting in the restaurant. We are going to start talking and we'll be mid-conversation when Charlie and Ella arrive. Ella will start to explain why she's late, and then this will eventually build towards the second phase, which is our argument, which is the bulk of the scene. So each character is going to present their opposing points, and we just discuss and we debate the issues of street harassment in general, all while also trying to comfort the victim. Like we all have that in mind, even though we're in this debate. And then,
one kind of functional question. Are we going to actually say like, okay, now we're going into the argument, or is it just something that will naturally evolve in the scene?
It will just kind of happen. Yeah. And then, and then we end. So at any point when any of us feel that the issue has been discussed and everyone has made their point, or we've resolved the issue as much as we're going to, any of us can make that call and say, should we go to another place for dinner? And that is the magic word. It ends the scene, and we all depart, which we're not going to get up or move or anything. We'll just go to the end. It'll be weird and anticlimactic. And then we have a short debrief.
Yep. So in terms of breaks, we probably should take a break soon. Would you like to take one now, right before we start, and then start with the game, or would you like to go after and we can have a slightly longer segment? It's not a big deal one way or the other, but I don't know if I don't want to cut off right before say the debrief. So I would, I don't want.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, we can take our break now.
All right, cool. Let's take a short one, and we'll be back in 5. And hope to see everyone